Well, this is a special round preview. Not only are finally all 18 teams playing, but it is Gather Round week, and what an exciting week it has turned out to be in these last few years of when it was starting. So without further ado, let's get into previewing the exciting event that is Gather Round. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Joining as always is your host, Trent Yolchin, or some of you might know me as Tricky. And yes, this is the big Gather Round preview episode. Now, before we get into all that, we'll obviously go over how the Up the Guts team competition is sitting, and then preview all the games in this exciting round of footy. But before we get into anything, guys, make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment on this video. Hit that subscribe button as we race towards 400 subscribers, and turn the notification bell on so you're notified whenever we upload. If you're listening to this via audio format on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a like and comment on this episode. Hit that follow button, turn the notification bell on so you're notified whenever we upload. And remember, guys, if you do enjoy this show and have been enjoying it, please leave a 5-star rating, as that does help push the show out there to new listeners. For extra bonus clips and behind-the-scenes clips, make sure you're following our socials as well, Instagram and TikTok. We are also on Facebook, but Instagram and TikTok's the main one, Up the Guts, at @uptheguts_. But without further ado, let's get into looking at how the Up the Guts tipping competition is looking at the moment. So we've had some changes into it. We have a new first place winner, and it's actually a tie. The first four are all on 27, but at the moment as we sit, Fight Your Mate's Dad, which is former co-host Will Diss, sits in first place on 27, the total of 91. So then he's 5 points in front of second place, like the aggregate with the margin, getting the margin close enough, who's also on 27, which is myself. So I'm very happy to sit in second place. Fig Jam drops down to third, and Big Hungry sits in fourth. Zach Wybanger moves up to fifth. Dalla, last year's winner, drops down to sixth. Connor moves up to seventh. Hodgie drops down to eighth. Glenn stays in ninth. Corey drops down to 10th. Wendy stays in 11th. Adam stays in 12th. JD Hawkstand stays in 13th. Dos Miller moves up to 14th. Logan moves up to 15th. Jai moves up to 16th. Big Pistol moves down to 17th. Chris moves up to 18th, and Uncle Ron is in 19th, and Adam moves down to 20th. So that's how it's looking. So at the moment, the top four all on 27. Fight Your Mate's Dad, Will Diss, me, Fig Jam, and Big Hungry. So it's a big battle for that top four now, and I'm coming in like a storm. So the aggregate 91 and 96 is the average between it. That's the Up the Guts Sydney competition, but let's get into previewing all the games of Gather Round. Let's go. To kickstart Gather Round, now this is an opportunity miss. Why are we not playing the showdown in Gather Round? That is the perfect matchup where it should be, but we're going to open it up with Adelaide and Carlton. So Adelaide currently sits 13th on the ladder with a record of 1-2, and Carlton are 15th on the ladder with a record of 1-3. Obviously, a lot of talk coming out of the Carlton Football Club and their fade-outs in the second half being very well documented. If you haven't already seen the video of where I discuss who could possibly be in the next to replace Michael Voss, because his job is very much on the line. It's coming to an end sooner rather than later if this keeps happening. Make sure you go ahead and watch that video after this as well. But the Adelaide Crows, I personally think Riley Thilthorpe has had a slow start to the season, and I think this is a great opportunity for Riley Thilthorpe to put his stamp on the competition and remind him what a damaging forward force that he is in that forward line in the Gather Round, where the state of South Australia is put on the screen for everyone to see and celebrate, and he goes in and just absolutely tears a new one. This is a great chance for Riley Thilthorpe to kick 5+ in a dominant display that just proves too powerful for the Blues. So I'm going to be going with the Crows in this one, and I'm going to back big Riley Thilthorpe in for 5, especially without Wiedering down there, who's gone down concussed. Margin-wise, I'm going to go the Crows by... No, I'm going to go the Crows. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. I've got... can you type it? Yeah, I'm going to go the Crows by 35, I think. Yeah, so I'm going to go the Crows by 35, and that game is obviously Adelaide Oval. Then we move over to Friday night, 7:40 p.m, also the Adelaide Oval. Now, this could be an interesting game. It's Collingwood v. the Dockers. Collingwood currently sit 10th on the ladder 2-2 record, while the Dockers are fourth on the ladder with a 3-1 record. Now it'll be a race against the clock to see if Nick Dacos gets up. They said it's just a corked calf, just a corky, but it's going to be a race to the clock because he did look very, very, very proppy. Couldn't even get running, and this could carry over. He pretty much, if he doesn't play, they don't win. That's just as hard as it is, and especially coming up against a midfield of Sarong, Brayshaw, Bolton, Murphy, Reid. If they weren't already going to dominate through the midfield, take Nick Dacos away from it, and I don't even want to imagine what it would be. Scott Pennery's also in a race against the clock. He should be right to come back, but the young and firing Fremantle Dockers midfield, it's going to be proven, I personally think, too much to handle for the Pies. They're going to go in without Darcy Moore again, which is really going to make it really hard for the Collingwood defence again with the three-headed monster, Tracy, Voss, and Amos. Amos coming off 4 goals last week. I think it's going to prove fair too much. But what I don't want to see is Fremantle play their boring style footy. Take the game on, get it in fast, catch Collingwood off guard because their defence is already undermanned without Darcy Moore, the skipper down there, and we know they have problems down there. So move the ball fast, get it in quickly to your big threes in Voss, Amos, and Tracy. I'm going to be backing, as harsh as you say, I'm going to be backing the Dockers in this one. I'm very high on the Dockers this season. Then Saturday, 12:30 p.m, we head out to Barossa Park, the first game that is not at the Adelaide Oval. We get to see some of the outside grounds in South Australia, and it is the Kangaroos v the Brisbane Lions. The Kangaroos, who are currently 5th on the ladder. That's right, I'll say it again, 5th with a 3-1 record, coming up against Brisbane Lions, who are 9th on the ladder with a 2-2 record. Now, Brisbane Lions, I think, are just starting to find their feet, and they're still not fully fit. I want to have a look right now. If we search up for a second, Harris Andrews injury. Oh, here we go. It came up there, but I'll just return it. Apologies for this. Shout out to Nick Butler for that one, former guest of the show. Harris Andrews, Brisbane Lions carry captain, will return to action next week after... Oh, no, that's not right. Harris Andrews. Here we go. This is all the... so who am I looking at again? Harris Andrews of Brisbane. Where's Brisbane? Next one will be of the game. Sorry about this. We're just going to click go. Here we go. So no, Harris Andrews will not go. So it says... Collingwood lost his co-captain and star defender Harris Andrews is due to return from suspension in a big boost to the Lions back 6. Oh, well, that's weird because he's not in their best team, but he should be back. So that is a huge get. And while the Kangas are riding a very, very big high, go back for a second. What did they say about Hugh McCluggage? Hugh McCluggage could be back from a calf issue and get the Lions close enough to optimal. Geez, if Hugh McCluggage is in there as much... It comes back as well. As much as we're loving the Kangas winning, I'm backing the Brisbane Lions. Always was, but it could be an 8+ goal victory in that one. If he's back, Harris Andrews and Hugh McCluggage, they're almost at full stream. And geez, isn't it good to see Kitty Coleman back out there? Fingers crossed he doesn't get injured, but Brisbane Lions in that one. And then at 1:15 p.m, just over at Adelaide Oval, we have the Bombers v the exciting Melbourne Demons. Now, if I haven't got the Bluetooth hooked up, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to play it through here. Former co-host of the show, Dylan McMahon, his thoughts on his beloved Melbourne.
We could be back. If there was a market for, wild card, just to make the wild card, I don't even have to pick to make the finals. Fucking stupid. Don't even get me started on that. It's a fucking level.
Doesn't like wild card.
I'm telling you, fucking chance anything. Maybe even 6. Maybe.
So he's very optimistic. Top 6, I think maybe calm down a bit, Dill. I hope that did come through not too bad. Obviously, didn't have the Bluetooth and I didn't have the headphones kicked up. And it is a late recording, so try and get this out as soon as possible. But hopefully they came out all right. But he's optimistic, but they are exciting. Max Gawn just doesn't look like He's going to retire anytime soon, even at the age of 35. Am I right in saying that? 35? Or am I being rude and calling him when he's 34? Max gone. 34, sorry. 35 at the end of the year. But yeah, he's not getting on it. Cosy Pickett's the main man in that midfield. He's doing really good. Cale Windsor finding his feet as a midfielder, really good to see. Brody Myercheck down there. Jake Melksham. Oh, Melbourne they are better than what we thought they were going to be. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see them their wild card weekend. But let's not get too excited. They're still in the rebuild phase, but they are playing exciting footy and they will prove too strong for the Bombers. 4:15 p.m, we head out to Norwood Oval in what should be a cracker of a game. It is the Sydney Swans v the Gold Coast Suns. Sydney, who are second on the ladder with a 3-1 record, up against the Gold Coast Suns, who are third and also have the 3-1 record, but looked quite poor last week in a game that they should never have dropped to the team we just talked about, the exciting Melbourne Demons. Is it that they just can't play the MCG, or are they not as good as we thought they were? Or is that just a mulligan? Is that just an off week? I know they are without Christian Petrarca. He will not be back yet. We know Rao. It's hard to say. He wasn't fit, but he wouldn't have been 100%. He's just finding his feet back after not playing for a while with that hand injury. Noah Anderson was kept quite quiet. So what if I'm Sydney Swans? What I'm doing? They did it last week with Harley Reid. I'm sending James Jordon straight to Noah Anderson, the Gold Coast Suns skipper. He's the one who provides the meters gain. He gets the ball moving inside 450s, and he often hits the scoreboard or gets plenty of scoreboard score involvements. He's the one who gets I would have argued Noah Anderson had the better season last year over Matt Rao. Not saying Matt Rao didn't have a good. I thought Noah Anderson's impact on the game exceeded what Matt Rao did, while Matt Rao was doing it on the inside, I understand. But in terms of scoring, and getting it inside 450, hitting the scoreboard himself, I thought Noah Anderson was exceptional. And if I'm the Sydney Swans, I'd be wanting to nullify that straight away, take that out of the game. And we know what a great tagger James Jordon is. I'm sure Dean Cox has that on his board. But if they're going to tag someone, I'm saying it's Noah Anderson. On the other end, though, Touk Miller's also having a great start to this season, but I think it's Noah Anderson you shut down. If Touk Miller gets off the lane, I guess you just let that go. But I'm going straight to Noah Anderson. Charlie Curnow is going to have a tough one. So Sam Collins down there, Charlie Ballard. Can he back it up? Was that 4 goals the exact performance he needed to get his confidence back up and get the feel of playing in that Sydney Swans forward line? The Sydney Swans are the real deal. Let's not beat around the bush there. And Isaac Heaney returned in star fashion. Now, in saying that with Jordon, does someone like a Touk Miller take care of Isaac Heaney at stoppages and just nullify? Or does Matt Rao, still trying to find his feet, go straight to Isaac Heaney at stoppages and nullify him? The only bad part is Isaac Heaney will just say, no worries, boys, I'll just swing forward and kick a couple. That's the only thing is, but I'm sure that magnet's going to be well watched too. I'm going to be going to Swans. I'm saying by about 3 or 4 goals. All right, Saturday night's going to be an absolute blockbuster. It is the 6th place Hawks coming up against top of the ladder and undefeated Western Bulldogs. Now, some people would argue they weren't great last week, Western Bulldogs in the second half, but I'd argue they took the foot off the throttle as well. No, that's no shame on Essendon, who showed plenty of fight, but Bulldogs are the real deal, and especially with the midfield that they've got. Ed Richards was not in that side. He should be able to walk straight back in. Tom Liberatore isn't quite back yet. The only question mark I have is how much of an impact is Tim English not going to have not being in there in the ruck, getting it down to the Bontempellis, getting it down to the Matt Kennedys, getting it down to the Ed Richards, and also having an impact himself around the ground. How much of an impact is that going to have, and who's going to play that ruck role? It's a big watch because we went over them in the review episode. They're all youngy players who are not quite fully probably ready for AFL level as yet, or they're just going to throw them in the woods and go, here you go, mate. All yours, have a go. Or do they go, Rory Long, we know you don't like playing in the ruck, but please, just for a couple of weeks, dig in and pull and just do it. Like, stop whinging. I know he doesn't like playing it, but he does have games where he looks good down in the back line. Then he has games when he goes missing. So that would be the ideal one. And then you can probably have Jordan Croft but playing as a second man, a second ruck, because you want to keep Sam Darcy down in the forward line as much as you can. So that's the only question I've got. And the Hawks are playing really, really exciting footy. I've mentioned I love Nick Watson through the middle. I love Connor McDonald through the middle. Josh Ward's becoming a real good player. Gets plenty of the ball on the inside. Gets it out to the running players. It's a tough one. It really is. I want to go Bulldogs, but part of me is thinking, how much of an impact is Tim English not being there going to have? I'm going to stick with my gut and go with the Dogs, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawks get up, and it's because of that Tim English magnet having the impact on the way the Bulldogs play. Then we head out to Sunday. We head out to Norwood Oval, 12:30 p.m, and it is the Cats v the West Coast Eagles. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this, as Cats just played in an absolute thriller, showing them why they are still a threat in this competition, and West Coast Eagles, what a disappointing performance it was by them. So not even going to spend too much time on it. It's the Cats in that one. Let's go to the next game. The GWS Giants coming up against the Tigers at Barossa Park. Both teams searching for their first win. Now, some might say just locking the Giants, but they're so injury-riddled and so much playing average footy that it is not a lock just to go them. I'm still going to back them in. But I'm not excited to watch this game. Another game that could be quite boring to watch. I'm so sorry. But hopefully it's not. Port Adelaide, St Kilda, the Adelaide Oval, 7:15 p.m. Now, this one's an interesting one because I think Butters will, Ross will send someone to tag Zach Butters. I imagine that's going to be Hugo Garcia. And then just try and impact, because other than Butters, Horn Francis has these games where you go, geez, he is a superstar. But then you have a game going, what the hell was that? And without Connor Rosie through there, Miles Burberry's not being the player that I thought he would have been. Well, he's injured at the moment currently, but I thought the talk was he was going to spend a lot of time through the midfield to start this year, but I don't think he's hardly ever tended to centre bounce. Ollie Wines is back, but he'll take a little bit to find his feet after spending a lot of time out. And then obviously Nasiah Wanganeen Malira. I imagine Willem Drew takes that role on and just takes that job on and just watches in midfield. If he pushes forward, it's probably going to be they like to use Lockie Jones on this, but I'm taking Darcy Byrne-Jones. Darcy Byrne-Jones, if he stays that role at halfback, all-Australian halfback, we know what you know with Darcy Jones is he's going to give it 110%. And he's got the honours as an all-Australian defender, so we know he's got the talent. So I'm giving it to Darcy Jones over Darcy Byrne-Jones over Lockie Jones. So I think he can be a bit erratic. But that's just that one there. It's an interesting one, this game. It really is, because it should be Port getting the win over Adelaide Oval, but they've been quite disappointing. 2-2. I'm going to back Port purely because it's at home, but you know what? Nah, I'm quite confident on that one. Port at home. Well, there you have it, guys. There is my tips and predictions for round 5 Gabba round. We'll quickly go over it. Thursday night, I'm going the Crows by 35 points over the Blues. Friday night, I'm going the Dockers over the Pies. Saturday games, I'm going the Lions over North, the Demons over the Bombers, Swans over the Suns, and then Saturday night, I'm going the Dogs over the Hawks, but that one could go either way. That's a flip of the coin. Then Sunday, I'm going the Cats over the Eagles, the Giants over the Tigers, and Port Adelaide over St Kilda. That's going to wrap up today's preview episode, guys. Thank you guys for watching and listening along. If you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you leave a like and comment on this video. Hit that subscribe button as we race towards 400 subscribers, and turn the notification bell on so you notify whenever we upload. If you're listening to this via audio on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a like and comment on this episode. Hit that follow button, turn the notification bell on so you notify whenever we upload. And remember, guys, if you are enjoying this show, please leave a 5-star rating, as that does help push the show out there to newer listeners. For all the behind the scenes and extra content, make sure you're following our socials as well. On Facebook, we are Up the Guts. Then on Instagram and TikTok is what I would recommend. We are at UpTheGuts_. Thank you guys for watching and listening along. And until next time, I'll see you guys then.